So would you tell us about that series?
Yeah, so the book series, again, these things just kind of show up. But, we were in the process of changing publishers for the TAJ to Routledge. And as I was doing those negotiations, the senior editor there said, it might be interesting if we did a book series, write up a proposal. It'll be a, ITAA kind of imprint.
It is a TA book series.
It is a TA, specifically TA book series. So I wrote up a proposal called Innovations in Transactional Analysis. And they accepted it.
Innovations in Transactional Analysis. So
Yeah.
they're innovating people.
Well, really new, like right now we've got, at least a half a dozen book proposals in the works. People, first-time authors.
Wow.
2 books have already been accepted for publication.
Are these what, American authors, European authors?
No, European authors. One Italian psychiatrist who's written an amazing book on Malacqua. And a book on the treatment of schizophrenics and psychosis. And a second book which has just been approved on the sort of the political and social context of psychotherapy. By James Sedgwick, who's a TA therapist and a university professor in England. So
it sounds very promising.
It's really exciting.
So it'll be the first time you edit books?
From start to finish. So, and it's
looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's a very different experience because it's a different kind of engagement with the author. To really help them go from kind of a bright idea to a coherent idea, and to really be able to articulate and flesh out, a coherent set of ideas. So it's.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about writing, editing, being edited? Perhaps the difference between writing and editing?
Well, I think between writing and editing. Now when I write, I kind of have an editor in my head. I edit a lot of my own
Self-edit.
Writing. I can look at an article. I can look at my article objectively. Does the structure work? I have had countless hundreds, if not thousands, of run-on sentences edited into short sentences. Now I can usually spot them on my own, things like that. But I think the other thing, because I write, I like you said earlier, TA is my home base, but I also write, in the body psychotherapy field and in psychoanalysis. And I think one of the things that's changed over the period of time that I've been writing is that these different disciplines are becoming more open to other ideas and more capacity to be self-critical. So you get less and less out of the "we've got the way," and there's a significant
the best bread thing.
the best bread, yeah, and so that's exciting because that's the interchange that I really like.
Would you like to say a few words about this particular book? What book is like?
That's a series mostly of articles, mostly of probably about the last 10 years, where I've used psychoanalysis to critique transactional analysis. I've used somatic perspectives to critique psychoanalysis. I've used TA to critique and expand psychoanalysis.
Like the good old critical
And
thinking
all
is
these,
really there.
exactly, yeah, you know, and also it represents, you know, some of my investment in the political and social aspects of psychotherapy.
So a good summary
Yeah,
of your writing.
yeah,
Even though you do already have 2 books out with the Meech Lake Papers and Somatic Experience, which are also collections of articles, but this one is really recent articles.
yeah. These are recent articles, and you know, and somatic experience was kind of, some of that were revisions of journal articles, but most of it was new writing.
Okay, yes. This one is the English version of the book you did with Gaël Fontaine at Payot.
And you're welcome to say it in French, the title.
Yes,
the
Une
original
vie
title.
pour être soi.
Save me
And
from
then-
embarrassing myself.
The title in English is very different.
Very,
from Une vie
very
pour être
different.
soi.
My original title for that book was When It Is As Though Life and Death Are Holding Hands. I loved that title.
Yes.
Payot said no. Routledge said no. Recently, a psychoanalyst who I'd never met before was thumbing through the table of contents, and I named one of the chapters that, and he read it and he said, "That should have been the title of the book." I was like, yes!
Death instinct, life instinct. I found that. I've read a few of the chapters,
Yeah.
and I mentioned some of them in my training group the other day, and they said, he didn't say that in Une vie.
Yeah, because Routledge wanted to orient it more toward a professional audience. And they were extremely supportive of this book. It really, frankly, surprised me because it's so unusual. But what they found valuable about it is it's such an illustration of the therapist's process of self-examination. And they say, you know, there's lots of stuff about self-disclosure, blah, 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 but the discipline of self-examination is very different. So they wanted that front and center.
Yes, and students have been finding it very useful, even the French version, which is less academic, but it's nevertheless really, really useful for people who are thinking of being therapists.
Yeah.
What is it like? And since you take the point of view of the therapist as well as you as a patient, client,
Yep.
it really opens up many fields for people. They can experience it in a sense.
Yeah, it's, you know, because I write about, obviously, my experience of myself as a psychotherapist, also as a supervisee, and as a patient.
Right.